So Epoch in general, Epoch en français, a different pronunciation of it, it means a period of time. So for us, we interpret that more as a moment in time we take with each other, our community, and we've chosen coffee as our vehicle to have those connections. Now the chemistry part of this, the Epoch chemistry, of course we do a lot of chemical extractions and different things that we measure. We're really meticulous with how we brew coffee, but the chemistry, once again, is between people. It's something that we can create really organically, and then here we do very deliberately in the tasting room, in the tasting experience. So Epoch chemistry is a coffee tasting experience. It is a retail establishment, and it is trying to find the truth in coffee. I wish I could say we were so deliberate with why we chose this. Really, there was a lot of necessity behind why we created the tasting experience the way we did. When we create this idea of the reservation and the booking of a coffee experience, people come with this notion that they're gonna have something that's great, experience something new. And this is where you come and leave that palate at the door, as I say. I often tell that the first thing I say in the tasting room is, you might have some preconceived notions of what your coffee is. Let's put them aside today because we're going to try and understand what you actually enjoy, not what you've been told to enjoy. If I have a gym membership, I can ignore it for 28 days of the month. I don't have to go to that. When I have that appointment with somebody who holds me accountable, all of a sudden I'm going to be there. And not saying we're holding people accountable by any regard, but we are to their own taste buds. We're in a very historic building here in Moncton. We often joke that it's the most beautiful building on St. George. And we're very blessed that my business partner is the owner of this building and has done a beautiful job refurbishing it. So this building has, you're gonna come into a space that is all exposed brick. You have tons of local elements here. Something that we kind of play back and forth with the real locality of what we can get and then the high-end stuff we bring in internationally. And we find they blend beautifully. We have such amazing artisans here in New Brunswick. So example, all our tables are all locally made by John Black. He's this amazing woodworker in town here. And he used reclaimed wood to get our tables made. We have local art on the walls. We have Chelsea Gauvin, who's been featured for the last few months here, and her artwork is really excellent and brings a lot of vibrancy to our space. For me, I see a couple different connections in the community. Of course, there is a very local aspect of what we do. And I want to first start and look at how locally we can connect. But the idea of connecting Moncton and New Brunswick and Atlantic Canada to a larger purpose around the world really excites us. So when we talk about the story of the farmer that's making our coffee and maybe some of the hardships or obstacles they've overcome or are overcoming, I love tying our community into that. And that real cohesion of globalism doesn't take away from local. We're still supporting a local business. We still have a lot of local entities here. But that connection to that farmer in Brazil that we get our coffee from, or even if we're sourcing our coffee through an importer, I like to create the story of who that is. There is a person behind everything that we enjoy. On average, 25 to 30 people that have touched your coffee before you get it. And when you think about that, paying 25 or 30 people to do a process that you're gonna pay $1 for, it doesn't really add up. There's no way this can actually make sense when you're looking at that dollar coffee, that rush at the bottom. And a lot of this old coffee that we're getting sold at the grocery store and other places is another whole part of the issue, where they're buying cheap coffee that no one actually wants, having it sit for years, roasting it super dark so that I can hide any imperfections that would be there. There takes a lot of work to process excellent coffee. So this is something that we try and really celebrate here, is that coffee is pretty dire. There is a solution, which is understanding the traceability of coffee and the ethicality around what circularity really means in this industry. The last 10 years in coffee have been the most influential changes in coffee in terms of taste, processing, sourcing, transparency, and we're really at the cusp of that, and we're trying to really engage with that. We are trying to connect our community to a greater purpose using coffee as our vehicle. We're looking to foster, we kind of call it the 3 C's of our business. So we're trying to foster community, contemplation, and conversation. And these are things that we might say you can't deliberately foster, but we truly believe you can. Experience is something that, the power of a moment is something you can try and cultivate more deliberately. And that's what we're trying to do here at Epoch Chemistry. So everything we do is in service of that power of a moment.